My name's Dolmore. I'm the chair of One&All in Stockport. We became employee-owned in 2015 and became a B Corp in 2020. Our culture changed probably about 12 years ago, where we focused on putting the lower paid first and the higher paid last. So one of the things that we recognised over 10 years ago was that half the country would have struggled at the time with an unexpected bill of more than, say, £200. And the last thing that we wanted was for any of our colleagues to go to a payday lender. And payday lenders were thriving from the issues that most of us have, the unexpected, the fact that your car might break down, or your boiler's got a problem, or your fridge is packed in, those sort of things. So at the time, interest rates were low, and we thought that was a good thing to do. So that's been really positive over the years. But I think more positive than that was the fact that in conjunction with these things, we talked about money management and the need to budget, and I think that meant a lot to our people. The sort of things that you don't learn at school, really, how to, and you should, how to budget and things like that. So we started doing that. It's been really successful. It got people opening up about finances, the things that people don't usually talk about at work because people really aren't encouraged to do that sort of thing. We've helped a couple of people with more serious debts, somebody with a big gambling debt problem, we've got them through that, somebody with big negative equity and credit card debt. So I think that's been really helpful over the years, but probably helped us to navigate these difficult times in the last year with the cost of living crisis. We started to see the impacts of the cost of living crisis in June. The first thing that we wanted to do was to find out how our colleagues were feeling and how they might be affected. So we did a confidential colleague survey. That was really interesting, and we also sent it to other employers in Greater Manchester because we figured that most bosses wouldn't understand what their lower paid colleagues were going through. So what we learned was that we had a couple of people on prepaid meters, and at the time they were paying a lot more for their energy than other people. We asked them how worried they were, how worried they feel about the next 12 months. We figured that was important. In response, they said that they wanted more money management courses, some one-to-ones free with our bank. So some took that up. And really, we did two things. We increased the amount of profit share. So we paid our highest ever profit share over the last 12 months, and it's tax-free because we're employee-owned. So our lowest paid full-time equivalent people received £3,500, mainly paid in December. I think that's been a massive help. The other thing that we did was increase pay. So for anyone earning less than 30 grand a year, and I think that's like a tipping point, they received a 10% pay increase. For the lower paid, that was in line with the real living wage, and we think that all employers should pay that. The highest paid people earning more than 30 grand a year, the highest paid got about 4%. And that's how we manage things through. We see things through the eye of the lower paid first. When we talk about pay, it's the lower paid that we do first on the real living wage. Often that means that the higher paid, there's not much left for them. So that's typically how we've handled that crisis. We think that our colleagues have navigated that well. Nobody's in financial distress. People seem to be happy. We run happiness surveys 3 or 4 times a year at work. That's been more positive than you might expect since June. The problem isn't going away though, it's going to be with us for a couple of more years, so we're going to keep doing these surveys, we're going to keep asking other employers in Greater Manchester to do the same thing. I think everyone should bring the real me into work, and too many people going into work put like a mask on and sort of pretend that everything's all right when it isn't. We think our big thing is happiness at work, and it's brilliant to see people coming into work on a Monday morning with a smile on the face. It's the way that we can help people, and people have responded really well because everyone feels trusted. So people tell us all sorts. They'll tell us if they're in financial difficulties, if they've got health problems, especially these days about mental health issues and things. It's just how to get the best of people. Caring for people is the way forward during difficult times. The business case to treat people well, like paying people the real living wage and sharing profits and wealth and caring about people, couldn't be stronger for us really. We consistently over the years, we've had the highest customer satisfaction, seen as world class. That increases sales and increases profits. So when we changed our culture over 10 years ago, our profits are consistently 8 times higher than when they were. So the old way of running an SME, it just doesn't work. Cutting costs and slashing costs and getting rid of the lowest paid first is no way to run any business. And if your business has got a customer, that's evident in the way that you treat them. We can all tell when we've been served in a pub, in a restaurant, in a store, when we've been served by people who are paid the minimum, because they've got lower self-esteem, they haven't got the care for the business. If you want repeat business, then treat people well. It's obvious. If you look at, so obviously I've been looking for good role models for a long time, and going back such a long time, my role models were Richer Sounds, who have now become majority employee owned. They always treated their people really well, and their shop floor staff treat their customers like brilliantly. And the same with John Lewis. So the example I give is, if you're looking for a TV and you've got a budget of say 500 quid, if you go to Richer or if you go to John Lewis, they'll figure out what it is that you want, what you're looking for, and if they can sell you one for 400 quid, that's brilliant. That's a big success for everyone. If you go to other high street stores where the people aren't treated so well, they'll try and sell you one for 800 quid. So stuff that you might not necessarily need, but they might get a bonus, or they might get a pat on the back from their boss. That's the difference.